What's up, YouTube land? It's me again, and today we'll be talking to my kids and to my kids alone. Basically, what I'm going to be doing with this particular video is talking to them. In the event that something were to happen to me, I want them to hear these words, and not like sad or anything like that, but thinking about my grandpa and thinking about other people who've passed on, which I love, and I can't hear them no more. Can't see them, can't interact with them anymore. And while, of course, that is sad, it's part of life. And I want my kids to be able to watch a video. And hopefully the part of me that is transmitted to them in this video will remain with them, regardless of how old they get or how young they are or whatever may be. It's not really a last will and testament, please. I'm not giving out my car and stuff like that. I'm not planning on dying or suiciding anytime soon. I love my kids and wouldn't want to do that to them because it's much better to be a live parent than it is a dead one. So please do not think that I am in any sort of mental danger. My mental faculties are good to go. I am perfectly happy and healthy as far as my mental facilities are, and I am more than happy to live the life that I currently have. I love my job in the military. I'm happy there. Work with a bunch of great people. Really do enjoy working in the military. I love the life that it gives me. I like the life that I have with that, and I don't want to jeopardize that in any way. So again, this is not any sort of last will or testament. This is just a conversation that maybe my kids can watch someday, maybe sooner rather than later. And hopefully what I say in this video will come through to them, and that they can use it as they go on, in life. So one thing, first want to say is, of course, that I love you. I love you as my son, or Jackson, Jaden, Josiah, Jason, Jordan, and I always will. I hope that you understand that I love you. Every single day I think about you. I hope one day we'll be able to spend more time together than we currently do. But it is what it is as it currently sits, and I hope you don't resent me for that. But I do love each of you deeply. There's not a thing on this earth that I probably would not do for you, and I say the word probably. I won't lie for you in court if you do something bad. You do have to take responsibility for your actions, but I do love you, even if you do those bad things, regardless of what you do in this life. I love you. Always, forever. And for this reason, I want you to know that I won't always be on your side. If you do something bad, that is criminally bad, that prompts you to end up in a jail system somewhere, I won't be able to help you out. I'll come and visit you if I can. I will definitely send you, care packages and love as much as I can. But I'm not going to bail you out. I'm not going to do any sort of thing to try and get you out of the jam that you're in when it comes to the legal system. If you do something illegal, I won't be able to help you with that. For anything else, I would love to help you as much as I can, and I will do so continually. So the purpose of why I'm really leaving this today is that I want to encourage you, as I sometimes need encouragement as I go through life, to learn ways to encourage yourself, to find strength inside of you, the wonderful part of humanity, I think. And the thing that makes us so strong, so resilient, is the fact that we always have this modern of hope. And I think hope is probably the definition that I would best want for humanity. I think of Ukraine now as happening. This is 2022, and I think of Ukraine that's going through this war. As much as I would love to go over there and support the troops on the ground, like to actually stand with them. I'm not going to say I stand with them if I don't, literally go stand with them. But, I think about them and what they're clinging to, what they hold on to more so than anything is hope. What we fight for in our wars, what we die for, what we live for is hope. And that hope isn't eternal. That is not an eternal hope of salvation. Although if you believe that, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with you believing in an afterlife or in a God or anything like that. That's not an issue for me, even though I don't anymore. But I want you to believe in the hope that you have now. in the hope that you living can hopefully develop in yourself to always have hope, to look on the bright side of things as much as possible. Now, obviously, I like to be as real as I can. I tend to be more optimistic than pessimistic, but I do also like being real, looking at the reality of situations and evaluating them. And what I want you to try and get from this whole conversation is hope. I want you to develop a system in your life, something that's inside of you that always gives you hope. That every day is a new day. Yeah, yesterday might have sucked. It might have been the worst day of your life. Who knows? But today doesn't have to be the worst day of your life. It may be the second worst day of your life, but it doesn't have to be. Every day of your life, you're going to go through ups and downs in life, just like everybody does. Nobody is free of the ups and downs that come in life. Nobody is able to get through that with unscathed. It's impossible. But the people that can develop or have the ability to start for themselves, that are self-starters, that can work on a task and continue it all the way to finish, are the ones that are usually successful in this world, especially when no one else is for them, or they think it's a silly idea or dumb idea, which I again hope that you can figure out. Hope being the character of this conversation, I hope you can figure out what you like to do, and I hope that you can also find a job that is related to that field, and that you can continue to do so. The best work is done when you enjoy what you do, and when you are able to enjoy it, then work doesn't become as much of a chore. Now, work is definitely important. It is a means to an end, though. So think of the odd acronym of working smarter, not harder. You can work yourself to the bone. You can beat your head against the wall, as I do from time to time, but take a break. Take a break when you're working hard. Think about the situation. Think about ways that you might combat the situation. Never stop thinking, never stop analyzing as much as you possibly can the situation you're in, because maybe you're trying to fit a square into a round hole, but you could just reach down on a tool and make the circle into a square. Or maybe there's another square hole that you can fit, the square inside. Think of ways that you can try to think of as many ways that you can to solve the problem that you're facing, whatever that problem may be. Think about it. Do a pros versus con analysis. Try to figure out the best methodology in life, and be a self-starter as much as you possibly can. If you see something that needs to be done, do it. If you want to do something in life, I'm there for you as much as I can. I would love to support anything that you want to do, besides the illegal stuff, of course. But I would love to support you as much as I can in anything that you want to do, whether that be learn an instrument, or learn a skill, or learn a language, or become something, or do something. You got to learn how to start yourself. You got to learn to motivate yourself, because when you can figure that out, when you can figure out how to motivate yourself, a whole world of possibilities opens up to you. You can become the biggest, best, athlete on those days that you don't want to. Just like, working out and things like that, you can become that athlete that you want to become. You can become that person that you want to become, but it takes time and it takes effort, and work is required to do anything that you want in life. If you want to become a scientist, if you want to become fireman, policeman, educator, painter, designer, computer scientist, anything that you want to do is going to require work. It's going to require lots of work. Lots and lots of work over time. And I hope that you take the time to realize that nothing comes overnight. It's not easy. Sometimes you can find things that are easy to do, and I'm happy that you can figure that stuff out, and happy that you can do so. But if you can learn how to motivate yourself, if you can learn something that I still struggle with, and there are days you're going to be struggling with it, you're not going to find it easy, but try to get back up on it. Try to do it again tomorrow. Yeah, you may have failed today. You might have failed today. You may not have done what you're supposed to do, but tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow is a brand new day, and you can start over again. Just do it again. Try it again. Do it again. All right? As long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as you have strength to work and get out of bed, even if you lose those legs or lose those arms, you can still do things. There are people out there that are handy capable, and if that's the way you become someday, then you still have use. You still have purpose, and you still have a reason for existing. And I hope that you understand that, you realize that. So learn to motivate yourself. Learn to start things, and learn to then, once you start it, which is the hardest part, by the way, once you start something, learn to try and finish it. You got to keep on coming back at it. You got to keep on trudging the plow. You got to keep on moving on. You got to Hakuna Matata. That's a bad one. Don't Hakuna Matata. There is no such thing as no worries. Everybody has worries. The richest men in America have worries. The poorest men in America have worries. The strongest men, the weakest men, it doesn't matter. Man, woman, lady, everybody has worries. Everybody is worried about tomorrow. Everybody is worried about the future. I would be lying to you to say that I'm not worried about it, because of course I am. What if I got in a tragic accident tomorrow? What if something happened to me? But of course you can't take those worries and you can't just let them foster. You gotta put them into a place where they can stay, and that you come to them every once in a while when you need to. And you need to take that worry out, that worry for, are you doing a good job? Yeah, you need to look at that and say, okay, well, these are the things that I'm not doing so well. These are the things I am doing well. And this is how we make it happen. This is the worry that I have. So if there are things that you can do, if you can talk to somebody, if you don't know about something, and if you can talk to somebody that does, and they can help you, that's great. You can look online. You can maybe find what you're looking for through the power of Google or the power of Bing or whatever search engine you're using. The knowledge, is almost unlimited now. You can almost find anything that you want to do through a few clicks and toggles, and that should empower you to feel better. That should give you some strength inside, that, hey, if someone else can do it, I can probably do it. And that's not always the case. Sometimes what they do requires talent, or sometimes what they do requires a modern of skill or something that they've practiced. But if someone else can do it, there is a very high probability, probably 80% or more, that you can probably do the exact same thing. With practice, with time, you can do the same thing that they are doing. And I hope this encourages you to continue whatever goal you have set for yourself, to continue on. You should be setting goals for yourself. You should be setting things that you want to do in your life. I'm hoping in this year that I can maybe learn a little bit of Japanese, or maybe pick up some instruments, learn a little bit of music work. My cousins, which are also your cousins, once removed, they are music teachers, and they're a great resource for which instruments you should get and things like that. So if you are desiring to learn a music of some type, instrument, which I highly encourage you to do, reach out to my cousins, Louis Garcia, Sabrina Vandrew, Richard and Angie Garcia. They will at least get you started, maybe, or point you in the right direction. They're not going to hold your hand and get you through it, because that's not the way that they are. But if you're curious about how to get started, they can help you with that. And that's important, is getting started and knowing who to talk to, knowing what to talk about. There's wonderful resources out there that can help you, that can guide you. Check the resources. Take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. For me, I like to stay out of drama. Of course, drama is fun to listen to. I'm not going to say that it's not. It's not something that drives most everybody, is the latest gossip at your job or your school, the gossip of who's doing what and who's dating who and who's messing this up and who's good and who's bad and who's great and who's bad. And but take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Realize that people have reasons for saying the things that they do, and that sometimes that reason isn't a good one. And look into the reasons. Ask the questions why. I love it when you guys ask me the question why, even though I know you guys like to hit me with the joke, and that's perfectly fine, because I love it. I love hearing the question why, and that's the question I always want you to ask. Sometimes it may not be appropriate to ask it in a large congregation or a large setting, like if you're at a company meeting or things like that. Do not ask the question why in front of everybody unless you feel strongly compelled to for some reason. there's a time and a place for a why, and sometimes it may not become clear to you. Sometimes the why is stupid. Whys can be wrong, and you'll find out once you've gone through it, because hindsight is 20/20. So you'll find out whether the why was good or whether the why was bad after you've done the task. But sometimes you have the option to question why before you begin, and I encourage you to do so. I don't encourage you to be a brat. I don't encourage you to be obnoxious, but I do encourage you to have an honest curiosity that asks the question why, so that you can learn the reason for something that you're doing. Asking the question why is important for that reason. So when you are talking with your teachers, when you're learning from your professors, when you're learning from your work colleagues, when you're learning from your mentors, from your teachers, ask the questions why, but do it in a respectful manner. Don't just go to obnoxiousm. Don't just say why, and sometimes they may not have an answer for you. Sometimes it's just the way that's always been done. Sometimes the answer is just because they said so, because they're the boss, or they have reasons for it. Sometimes they just want you to do it and shut up about it. But if you can ask in a genuine curiosity manner, most people that I've met will give you an honest answer if you ask them in the right way. Which brings me to the point of respect, which is something that you need to learn. Not everybody will give you respect, and you don't deserve to give respect to everybody. Not every adult deserves respect. But there's a good chunk of adults that do. I would say, 50 to 75% of adults that you encounter will be worthy and deserve your respect. And you will learn over time which of those that they are. And it usually depends on how they treat you, whether they want to protect you or whether they want to give you good advice or bad advice or this or that. You'll learn to pick those up over time. You'll learn how to process whether someone is working in your benefit or not, even if they sometimes are deceitful about it, even if they put on a facade of a nice person but are really not. You can learn over time whether that person is worthy of the respect that you have. Usually people that are worthy of respect also give respect once you have proven to be worthy of that respect. So demonstrate you are worthy of respect. Demonstrate that you are a person that is has intelligence and that works hard. Demonstrate that you have the ability to listen and care about the things that they are talking about, that you also care about them as a person. That's important. You need to care about others as a person, especially people that you work with, people that you interact with on a daily basis, your family. You should learn to give respect as well as receive it. You should try to earn that respect. You should do that by caring about the person. Find out about their family, try to understand the situation. I'm not saying to be intrusive. I'm not saying to pry as much as you can, but when they tell you things, if they tell you in confidence, make sure you keep it in confidence. Make sure that you try as much as you can to give trust and to receive trust as well. It's important that you both give and receive trust. You need to demonstrate that you are worthy of trust, and you also need to receive demonstration that the trust that you are putting in them is warranted. People are going to fail. They're going to let you down. But don't let that one mistake, continue. You can still give people trust with one mistake. Mistakes happen. Now, granted, of course, what that mistake is, it's kind of a situational thing that you'll learn as you grow older. But as you do so, respect is important. It is something that, again, shouldn't be given lightly. I do love the Air Force, and I'm going to be giving you some more Air Force examples, of course, but when I joined the Air Force, the only thing that's on my uniform is my last name, which I have given to all of you. I've given you Jackson Ray Donahue, Jaden James Donahue, Josiah Daniel Donahue, Jace William Donahue, and Jordan Andrew Donahue. I have given you all my last name. Now, of course, through the legal system, you can change that, and if that's your desire to do so, while it will sadden me a little bit, I understand that things happen, but you've now received the one thing that is unique, not really unique, but is given to you by the process of becoming my son, and by that process, which of course is the one that I love you the most with. That name means something to me. It meant something to my dad. It meant something to his dad. We all have served in the military, and our name, Donahue, means something to us. And I hope that through this video and through time that you'll understand that the name Donahue should mean something to you too. When people say the name Donahue, and they call me Donnie in the Air Force because Donahue is just too hard to say for whatever reason. But when they say Donnie, they're talking about my family name. They're talking about me, but they're also talking about you. You're now part of this Donahue family. You're part of this name, and it's not Donahue, like D-O-N-A. It's Don't-O-U. I mean, you can go on semantics all you want, which semantics is how you say words and things like that, but it's Donahue, and it should have a meaning to you. We are Irish, Norwegian. We have bits of Sicilian in us from my dad's mom, and he married a Sicilian woman, which Sicily is a beautiful island. I got to stop there briefly on a deployment. It was a beautiful, gorgeous place. But we're Norwegian, and we're Irish, and we're Sicilian, and of course Irish should be obvious from Donahue, which is the two O's and the hue at the end of it. So we have a proud heritage of being some of the craziest people on earth. My mom's side is very Norwegian, Johnsrud and Onstead, and they're very Norwegian, and you should be proud of that as well. The Vikings, of course, were Norwegian, and so you have some heritage there that's unique to you. But that name, getting back to topic, that name should mean something to you at some point, and I hope that it does. I hope it means something to others as well. They know me as Donnie in the Air Force. I'm no longer Donahue. I'm not Jonah. I'm Donnie. I'm the Donnie, and so that means something to me. And when they say my name, when they ask me if I can do a job, that I hope that carries that weight of what that means, that trust that I have built as much as I can. And I fail at work too. I'm not going to say I don't, but it's just that name should mean something. That when they talk about this person, when they say Donahue, that should mean something. That should come with a name that characters of trustworthy and respectable, and a name that means something to them. Like that should give them a pause for a second when they say the word Donahue. And I hope that you can sometime live up to that. And if you can't, I understand, because guess what? We're human. We're not perfect. We fail, and we continue to fail. And I love you. So, respect. We talked about respect. Let's talk about sources and fact checking. All right. You're going to hear tons of things over the course of your life. You're going to hear things all over the place. And learning how to evaluate information is something that parents don't necessarily like their kids to learn, because then the kids also start to question them. And that's part of why I'm telling you this. Even though I am your parent, I like you to understand and just agree with me. That's not always necessarily the case, because everybody is wrong sometimes. So learning how to evaluate information, learning the sources of information, and learning what the agenda behind a source of information carries is important. So as you're learning about science, as you're learning about mathematics, as you're learning about engineering and other things, learning the source of where that information is coming from is going to be a key for you. Is the source reliable? Are they trustworthy? Are they worthy, again, of the respect that you are giving to them? And learning how to differentiate between when things are not truthful, when they're a bad source, or when they're a good source will be a key. There are wonderful sources out there, plenty of sources that you will learn about as you grow up and things like that. There's also bad sources. There's sources that are bad. And because of that reason of the sources, also consider that there's two sides of the argument. So as we talk about, I do like to play devil's advocate quite a bit, where I think of the other side of the argument. Think about how the other person feels, or how what the other side of that argument might be, and consider another person's viewpoint. I love learning new viewpoints every day. I love talking to people and learning what they feel and how they think about things and their opinion on stuff. And I like to do that, and that may not be your hobby. That may not be fun for you, but that is something that I do like to do and enjoy doing. So as you talk with people, you learn to evaluate the information, the source that come out of their mouth, and the more years that you spend, the better you'll become at being able to determine whether they're lying to you or not, or just telling you a modern of truth. Sometimes they're telling you certain truths, but sometimes they're telling you, just flat out lying to you. And as you grow older, hopefully you'll be able to discern that better and better just through the years. It's a skill that comes with time. It's not something that's easy to do. And And I'm not going to say, as I'm coming myself out of this Christianity, this source that taught me everything for many, many years of my life. And as I'm kind of broadening my horizons, broadening my viewpoints, I'm learning more and more to learn about the truth of the matter, the truth of the source, learning like what is probable, what is possible, things like that. There's lots of wordage I'm going to throw at you that doesn't necessarily have meaning, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that learning to differentiate between the truth and lies is important. And taking everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Yes, it might be true, maybe it's not. But learning what sources are credible, learning what sources generally tell the truth, and listening to those sources will help you in the long run. As there's plenty of people that are going to try and get you to do things that aren't true and that aren't good. They may make you feel good for a limited time, but as you grow, you'll eventually learn that they maybe don't suit you in the long run. So, going further than that, take care of yourself as much as you can. Try to learn how to work out. Try to develop a healthy routine. Try to analyze the foods that you eat. One of the best things that has happened to me was learning about doing the cohort program that I did in the Air Force, where I was forced to track my food. And I encourage you to do so for about a week or two. Track all of the food that you eat and learn about calories, learn about learn what the chemicals are, what the proteins are, what the things are that are in your food, and understand what food does for you, how it fuels you, how it makes you either stronger or fatter or pleases you, like caffeine, and how that has increases your ability of alertness. But over time, the receptors that receive the caffeine become weaker, so that you won't always feel the same rush that you do from caffeine. So going on purges from occasionally, where you eat, like food, healthy, lots of healthy food, plenty of vegetables that clear out your digestive system, like celery and peas and carrots and other kind of stringy vegetables can help clean your system. But learning about food and how much you intake and also how much you output is important to keep a healthy lifestyle, to keep a healthy life as long as you can. Of course, I don't know everything about this thing, about this process. I'm not an expert, as my belly indicates, as much as I try, and I continually fail. Learning how to exercise and eat the balance of diet that you need to eat is an important skill. And the sooner that you learn that, and how that affects you and your moods and everything, because it really does, your food, your diet. And I'm not saying to go on a crazy diet. I don't want any of that, because that's also kind of unreasonable in my opinion. But learning how to moderate your food intake so that you eat healthy foods in addition to the bad foods is very important for you. And understanding that the more you do something, the less potency it has for you. So like taking medicine, for example, and if you're required to take medicine in the future for many periods, I understand that. But the purpose of what I'm trying to say is that you don't want to become addicted to these things. You don't want to make them a part of your daily routine, because every time that you use it, the effects, as long as if it had a recharge time, it's a little different. But if you continually use it day after day after day after day, it'll have an effect on you that will change your chemistry. You'll become addicted. So learning, maybe going through a purge where you only drink water for a while, eating healthy, and then in addition to those two things, exercising is also important. If you don't diet right, but you exercise, you can kind of make up for some of your diet problems. But it's to truly become what you may want to be, you'll need to do both. You'll need to diet and you'll need to exercise on a regular basis, and incorporate that in your lifestyle. That's not something that you'll need to, it's not something that you'll say, oh, I want to do this, but it's something that you actually need to do to maintain the lifestyle that you want, the body type that you want, things like that. Those are things that again, require work, and you're going to learn how to work. That's something you'll need to do. Work is hard. Work is not fun, but it is required for anything worthwhile. You can have a lot of fun sometimes with work, and sometimes fun can be separate from work, but work is important, and everything that's worth doing is going to require work of some type. It's going to require time, which is the main thing, and learning how to spend that time as useful as you can, and is helpful. So one of the things I learned from one of my jobs at Target actually is, and a mentor there that I had, which I don't remember his name, but we were working the line, and he was talking about efficiency, and he tried to develop systems where he would take the least amount of steps possible, where he would develop the least amount of steps to do any sort of item. So simplicity is a wonderful thing, and if you can keep it simple, stupid, as much as you can, it'll be better for you. I'm not saying that you won't be able to learn things that are complex, and that's a different story. But as much as you can use efficiency in your work life, it'll help you to be the most, and that'll help you look better too. Because if you were, doing 15 steps and you could do something in 5, that means you have more time to do something else, or you have more time to yourself, or any number of things. So learning efficiency, and as you're working, as you're working a job, I hope that you learn efficiency, and that you learn while you're working the job. I hope you're also thinking about it, because I know some people that don't. But I'm hoping that in this video, or through when you see Dad, that you're thinking about what you're doing, and you think to yourself while you're doing it, hey, is there a way I could do this better? Now, certain jobs like the one I'm in now will require you to do things a certain way, but even in the job that I'm in, there are methodology. There's forms that we can fill out to change that methodology into something that's better if it is warranted, if it's researched properly and things like that. So your job may not allow you the benefit of changing your work order, so to speak. But if it's a good job, probably they will. They won't. In fact, they'll usually praise you for like, hey, we did this way, this way, this way, this way. But why don't we just do it this way? Now, sometimes that's already been done, and they'll be like, no, we can't do it that way because we mess a problem here. But talking with your boss about that is usually a good thing. Your boss will usually be, for one thing, impressed that you're talking to him about work, because he's like, well, yeah, you're at work, so maybe you should be working. But your boss will also generally be impressed with that. But they'll be like, well, I can see that you're thinking on the job. You're not wasting my money. You're not wasting the time that I'm putting into you. And certain jobs will put more into you than others. And the jobs that put the most into you are the jobs that you want to stay in. So the military has been a great job for me. When I worked at Asurion, that call center, that was another really great job for me, because they had lots of benefits, lots of bonuses, lots of resources available for you, which the better companies do. The better companies will have bonuses, they'll have resources, they'll have things that benefit you more so than just doing your job. And you'll want to work for those kind of companies because of the benefits that they provide. You'll want to improve the systems. You'll want to do things better. You want to do things faster. You want to work overtime, or you want to give them some of your time. You want to invest in them as they've invested in you. And you can tell usually what companies are investing in you by the amount of things that they provide you generally. Sometimes that providement of benefits will increase as you progress, as you climb the corporate ladder, so to speak. But that's not the only goal that you should search for. Of course, you should search for something that adds meaning to your life as much as possible. Search for something that you enjoy doing, that stimulates your brain and also stimulates your hands, and that makes you into a better human, a better person in society. Which brings us to society. Society is crazy, but it's meaningful. It has purpose. And it may not always be what you want it to be, and it probably won't. But it's important that you try to be a good member of that society as much as possible, that you seek to help others, and that's something that you should learn over time, is to try and help people. Everybody needs help from time to time. Everybody needs those people in their life that they can count on to be there when they're in trouble or when they need help. And generally, depending on where you live or where you end up, that could be your family, but a lot of times that'll be your coworkers. That'll be people that you work with. As I think back on the 20 years I've been in the workforce, well, about, 35 minus 18, 17 years. The 17 years I've been in the workforce, so almost 20 years, I think about all my coworkers, and those are probably some of the best relationships I had. The people that I usually, that I went after, my ex-wife was a coworker of mine at one point. People that I dated were back in college or high school, of course. Generally, the people that I dated or interacted with were people that I worked with or went to class with. So the people that, your parents love you, and I do, and I'm hopeful you get that from this video. But the people that, will more likely be there to help you and to get your back, or should be, are your coworkers. And you often will develop a family style life with them. Calling some of them brother, which I do. I have a couple brothers that I've made from one from college who lives in Illinois that I know I can call, and he'll help me out as much as I can. And another one that I went to the desert with that I consider, I didn't have brothers like you do, but these people that and Uncle John and Saivo, which again are not my brothers. I have no brothers. But these people are as close to a brother as I can possibly get. Like, if John or Saivo called me and told me I needed to go to Tennessee tomorrow for something, I probably would try and work it out with my boss to go. And that, from a simple phone call, like if they had an emergency that would require me to be there, present, I would try to be there and present to help them as much as I can. Same goes for a guy named Carlos Sequeira and Enrique Argueta. Like, again, he could call me from almost anywhere. And if it's within my power to help them, that includes monetarily, I'll be there. And these are coworkers of mine. These are people that I've developed relationship with. There's lots more on the list that I would help with moving, or I will help with a phone call, or I'll give them $20 or so, like something like that. But these are people that for one thing, you will develop relationships with people that you work with. It's just something about the human experience that, as you work with people, you talk to them for one thing. You see them every day, not every day, but generally 3 to 5 days a week, depending on your job situation. And so they're people that you care about. They help you. They can relate to you in a way that your family can't necessarily way, but which is good and bad, because your family can also relate to you in ways that they can't. But these are people that you're going to develop relationships with that are going to become important to you. And I hope that you learn to love people from working with them, and developing a sense of family with people that you work with. And that will include sometimes going out with them to, bars or things like that to drink with them, or maybe be their designated driver or help them out. That'll include sometimes sacrificing things that you want to do to help them. I'm not saying to do it all the time. I'm not saying to do it every time. But I am saying to do it a lot of time, or some of the time. So these people, as you go through life, you're going to develop relationships that you're going to hold on to for life with people that you work with, and the people that you sweat alongside. And those are the people that are going to become more of a family to you than sometimes even your legitimate family. And for that reason, you need to care about them. You need to learn to love them. You need to learn to take care of them. And hopefully, if you do so to them, they will also do so in return. You'll find people that you have common interests with. You'll find friends that you can make for an entire lifetime that, transcend the familial, the blood ties that you have with your actual brothers, and that you even have with me. So we may make more videos like this. I may do more as I think of more topics to talk about. Hopefully this will be something that you can use from time to time. And maybe you'll use it once. Maybe you won't use it at all. That being said, I hope you do find some use to it. I hope that you do find encouragement. I hope you find hope. I hope the words that I have said today will provide you with hope. As much as I can give to you through this phone screen, through the internet, through whatever, I hope the words that I'm saying provide you with a sense of hope. That, the world may be dark. It might be your worst day of your life. You never know when that day will come. There's no way to predict it, but there's also no way to predict the best day of your life either. And those days will change over time. As you grow up, those will change. You might have a best day, you might have a worst day, you might have a series of bad days. You may have a time in your life or a year where you're just like, man, that was just a bad year. I didn't like that. Or you might have a year that's just like, man, this is the best year of my life. Like everything is just going well, everything's clicking, everything's happening. Maybe you have that love of your life. Maybe that woman or man or whoever comes into your life and They give you something that you can't get from anybody else. I wish for that for you if that's the case. If they're listening as well, I hope that this is encouragement to you as well. That you picked my son, I hope he's worthy, not necessarily worthy, but I hope he does some of the things that I said in this video. I hope that I also live up to an example of someone who provides these kinds of things in his life, that I can live as an example of the things that I've said in this video to you, so that you can say, not only did my dad say this in this dumb 40-minute video, but he also tries to live it as much as he can. He's not perfect, just like I'm not, but he gives me hope, and I hope that one day you can turn to your kids and you could say, hey, keep going. You got this, man. Keep going. You're strong. Maybe you're not strong right now. Maybe you're weak, but you can do it. You can keep going. Tomorrow's a new day. Start over. Try again. Don't do the same thing again. Don't do the same thing and expect the same result, but try again. Try a different angle. Think about it from a different way. See what else you can do to combat your situation. Try to learn a skill. Learn how to manage your money. Learn how to become successful. Learn how to entice and to speak with women in a way that makes them feel important and like a human. Learn how to talk to them. Learn how to treat people the way that you want to be treated. But most of all, take hope. Take hope that tomorrow is a new day. Today might be the worst day of your life, but tomorrow is a different day. It's a brand new day. You got 24 hours again. 24 more hours that might be better than the last 24 hours that you were in. And then the day after that, it might be better again. And the day after that is better again. And the day after that was worse. And then the day after that is better again. And then hopefully, over time, as you look back on your life, and as I look back on my life, I see that, my life is pretty good. Was it spectacular? No. Am I something that's going to be written and lauded in the annals of history? No, I'm not. But can I help some people? Yes. Can I help my kids through this video? I certainly hope so. And again, at the very end, I want to say that I love you. I love you. I will be there for you as much as I can physically, as well as through the phone or through whatever means possible. I want you to know that this version of me that you're creating in your head right now, that this person, my image of you, your image of me, wants this to be something important to you, that sometimes can get you by. And in the event that I do pass on, I hope that this video will help you in times that you need good old dad's help. Because I love my dad. And I'm not anxious for the day that he passes on. And I hope it's not any day soon. But, I can tell you from missing my grandpa right now that I wish that this technology was available when my grandpa was alive and breathing. I wish, and I'll maybe talk with my dad about it, about making a video like this for me. Because it means something. And I hope that this will find you in a time of need. I hope that it will find you in times that you don't necessarily need. Maybe you just want to hear good old dad talk to you. Maybe you want to hear those words that I love you and I care about you. And I think that you can do what you're trying to do. I'm there for you as much as I can be. I encourage you. And I hope that this gives you hope. Hope for the future. Hope for a better life. Well, this is your dad. I love you. If anybody else is listening, so be it. If I know you, I probably do like you in some capacity. Maybe I don't, but either way, I hope that this gives you hope, whoever's listening, but especially my kids.